Hey everyone, Dash Attack here. So this is it. This is my big Captain America 4 review. Hope I don't disappoint. But yeah, I saw the movie on Thursday. Honestly, the movie is, quite frankly, the exact definition of what a mid movie is. By modern MCU standards, that's pretty much a win. For Marvel being better than the Disney Plus shows, the Marvels, Doctor Strange 2, Eternals, the worst of the MCU, that's a win for them. The reshoots, there was like so much talk of reshoots, and I think I can imagine why. I'm going to explain what worked with the movie, what didn't work, why things ended up the way they did. At least how I theorize they might have ended up the way they did. I'm also going to explain why this should have been called Incredible Hulk 2. Because, quite frankly, it acts better as a Hulk movie than a Captain America movie, and I'm going to explain why. Here it is, Captain America Brave New World, or as it was originally supposed to be called, New World Order. Let me first address some of the things outside of the movie that I believe is affecting perception of the movie itself. It's the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show. I believe that did untold amount of damage to Sam Wilson and why a lot of people still do not accept him as the new Captain America. I personally have not seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier in its entirety, but I do know from anecdotal testimony and what people have said about the show that it's neck deep in identity politics and wokeness. It came out basically at the time when Disney was full throttle on all that stuff. Here you have Sam Wilson defending terrorism, lecturing world leaders about refugees and racial justice while playing a victim.
Soon, the terrorists only set us back a bit.
You have to stop calling them terrorists. These labels, terrorist, refugee, thug, they're often used to get around the question why.
Don't-
You just don't understand. I'm a black man carrying the stars and stripes. What don't I understand? Here, I feel it. The stares, the judgment. And there's nothing I can do to change it. No super serum. No blonde hair or blue eyes. I mean, this girl died trying to stop you. And no one has stopped for 1 second to ask why. You've got to do better, Senator. You've got to step up.
This after he had just officially accepted the mantle of Captain America. And what's even more hilarious, there are almost no scenes like that at all in Brave New World. It's like almost completely, like there's hardly any wokeness in Brave New World whatsoever. It was a complete 180, and all of that is just because of the changing times. Think about it. A plot line from a virus was removed in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And last year you had a assassination attempt on a former president. You don't think that Disney reshot everything to make sure this movie wouldn't be controversial in the slightest? When you watch the movie from beginning to end, there is no coherent political message. So I think whatever message it intended to have, like most of the Captain America movies have a message, whatever message this movie was supposed to have, it got cut in the reshoots. So not only are you watching this movie with a new Captain America, this is now the first Captain America movie without a message or theme. First Avenger was a war film about how we can serve our country even if we're weak, and about measure of strength versus character. Winter Soldier, the surveillance state and individual freedom and privacy. Basically, standard post Patriot Act commentary. that I think is still very relevant today.
What's on this drive?
Project Insight requires insight. So I wrote an algorithm.
Civil War was about accountability versus freedom.
Sounds fun. He decided to spend his summer building sustainable housing for the poor. Guess where? Sokovia.
Security Council. It's not SHIELD, it's not Hydra.
No, but it's run by people with agendas, and agendas change.
That's good. That's why I'm here. When I realized what my weapons were capable of in the wrong hands, I shut it down, stopped manufacturing.
Tony.
And yes, Falcon and Winter Soldier was about...
You've got to do better, Senator.
If I were to salvage a theme from the movie, it'd be about working together, putting aside our differences, like that we're all Americans, I guess. You know, kind of a message of unity, but the whole movie really isn't about that. Like, it's just friction between Mackie and Ross. Really, the movie's best aspect is General Ross dealing with the estrangement from his daughter, Betty. That's just one of the reasons why the movie works better as a Hulk film than it does a Captain America film. The movie's real villain is actually the leader who was set up in Hulk 2008, but never came. It took 17 years for them to do something with this villain. Meanwhile, Carlo Esposito was the one being marketed as the main villain of this movie. And he's barely in the film, and he hardly plays a role at all. He's basically just there because he's popular. And even with this pivot away from racial politics in the movie, with it not being mentioned that much, there might have been at least one scene, but hardly brought up at all, compared to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which was basically based around that. Anthony Mackie is just not as charismatic as Chris Evans. And I'm saying this as someone who likes Mackie over Chris Evans IRL. Evans just did a masterful job playing Steve Rogers in the MCU, and that's going to be hard to compete. Disney has an obsession with titles that you see with Spider-Man and Thor. They are obsessed with titles, and they think titles can replace character. When character and story, it needs to develop. It's hard. Writing is hard. Developing your characters is hard. Sam was a great character on his own as Falcon, and unfortunately, people are going to be just seeing him as Falcon. Disney has basically set up Anthony Mackie to fail as Captain America, but I do accept that this is the... Disney says he's Captain America, then he's Captain America. They control the MCU. It's that simple. And hey, if they can drop the race stuff, like, from the character, that's excellent. Like, you know, he should be based on Sam Wilson. It shouldn't... They leave all the real-world baggage away and just, like, make him be his own Captain America. Yet, just like Peter Parker is always going to be Spider-Man for a majority of people, and it's the same thing with Captain America. Nevertheless, like, you know, if they want the Captain America role to be led by Sam, that's fine. But, like, people are still all going to see Steve Rogers as the Captain America. Yeah, so overall, Brave New World is a bad Captain America movie, but an alright Hulk movie. I don't think the Red Hulk fight at the end of the movie is as bad as people make it out to be, and quite frankly, Sam pretty much loses the fight and has to talk no jutsu Ross out of being Hulk. So in no way does Sam overpower Red Hulk. He pretty much gets his ass beat, and everything that he throws at him, even his hardest maneuver, which was that Wakanda blast, it doesn't work. So yeah, it's not great, but I'd say it's at least somewhat watchable. And if you're curious or want to keep up with the MCU, you should maybe see it. I didn't hate it personally. I just didn't think it was great. And unfortunately, for a lot of people, being a mid movie is just as bad as being a terrible movie. So, yeah, Captain America 4 kind of looked out in that regard. We'll see how that box office does. The reshoots definitely ballooned the budget, so it's going to be tough, and it's probably not that great to generate a lot of tickets. And like I said before, the Winter Soldier show, what people heard from it and the people who actually saw it, it damaged the Sam Wilson run as Captain America with all the bullshit in that show. Anyways, those are my thoughts on Captain America 4. Let me know what you guys thought of the movie or what you thought about my review. If you disagree with any of my points or observations, please let me know in the comments. Thank you all for watching and supporting my channel. I will continue to improve as I continue to make content. Thanks again, and I'll see you all next time. Dash Attack out.